Having removed the dtmc300 spectroradiometer from the EnviroBox, one can place it on a table alongside the 605 constant current power supply for the evaluation of the response of radiometers. We will proceed to fit the IL7 light source to the entrance slit and the RSR unit to the exit slit. Firstly, we must remove the fibre adapter from the entrance slit and equally remove the cover from the exit slit. The IL7 light source has weight-bearing feet with 3 locking screws. We should slightly loosen the screws so we can adjust the height of the source to fit to the entrance slit of the monochromator. We use 4 M3 screws to attach the source to the bottom 4 screw holes of the dtmc300 monochromator. And once we have ensured that the source is securely fitted to the entrance slit, we should tighten the screws of the feet to ensure that the slit is not bearing the load of this light source. With the RSR unit, we again have a foot. We can use an Allen key to slightly loosen the grub screw to allow adapting the correct height of the unit to the entrance slit, and we fit the unit using 2 M3 screws. There are 2 bottom locations, but it's very difficult to reach them, so I recommend using only the top 2. And when the unit is firmly attached to the slit, we can adjust the foot and we can then proceed to place the lid on the unit. Now one should note that at the exit slit we have a 1.5 by 5mm aperture, and one should consider the middle and entrance slits to ensure the correct bandwidth is selected for the measurements required. We can then connect the mains to the spectroradiometer and to the constant current power supply. We recommend powering on the lamp first. So, having connected the mains, we ensure the current selector points to 8.5 amps and slightly withdraw the key to avoid inadvertent changing of the current. We connect the 605 to the lamp using black and red cables and connect to the underside of the source, ensuring correct polarity. And we connect the fan of the IL7 to the 605 fan output. We can power on now. Initially, the red lamp failed light will illuminate as the starter circuit of the lamp charges, and when the arc is established, this will extinguish and we will have a voltage around 14 volts, minus 14 volts on the LCD display. We can also connect the USB to both the monochromator and the detection electronics. So from the monochromator, we have a USB connector to the rear. So it's behind the monochromator, around the corner from the entrance slit. And for the detection electronics, the USB connection is up to the top of the unit, and we connect that to computer. And we can then power on the spectroradiometer. We can then connect the detectors of the RSR unit. Firstly, we remove the existing connection from the photomultiplier to detector 1. Using BNC to BNC cables, We connect first the reference diode to the port labelled detector 1, and the monitor diode to the port labelled detector 2. We can then use the software to calibrate the system, and having calibrated the system, we can proceed to measure radiometers, in which case we would remove the 4 corner screws, and one can use one of the adapters provided for Kippenzonen or Epley radiometers. The radiometers you will measure generate a voltage, so we will in that case use the 472 module to interface to the detection electronics. This requires a power supply which will connect to the power input. The input from the device under test will be connected by BNC cable to the input of the 472. Then we take another BNC cable to connect the output of choice, depending upon the output of the device under test. We have 1 volt per 100 microamps, 1 volt per 10 microamps, and 1 volt per microamp. And the output of the 472 connects to detector 1. And we are now ready to measure radiometers.